The Coldwater Lake Loop is located on the opposite side of Mount St. Helens from Ape Canyon. This too was in the blast zone. In fact, it was hit far heavier than the other side of the mountain because when the mountain blew up, it was pointed in this direction. So you totally thought there wasn't anything on this side of the mountain for mountain bikes, didn't you? You thought it was just Johnston Ridge Observatory and nothing else, huh? Well, there's a trail over here, and it's pretty darn good too. You get to Coldwater Lake by taking Highway 504 east toward Johnston Ridge Observatory. You'll see a turnoff for Coldwater Lake on your left. Don't take that turnoff. Instead, take the turnoff to the other trailhead on your left about 1.3 miles further down the road. After parking, the trailhead should be pretty obvious on the west side of the parking area. The trail doesn't waste any time getting steep. It wouldn't be quite right to call this first climb punchy. Something more akin to intense sustained torture might be a more accurate assessment. It's too long to just be punchy. Basically, this trail impatiently grinds straight up the fall line for the first 1.7 miles, gaining 1,000 feet in the process. You'll definitely want to put that 28T chainring on for this ride. The trail wraps around the toe of the ridge for the first quarter mile before sticking you in these thick woods for the next half a mile while you gain 500 feet in elevation. This part hurts. It just plain hurts. There's no shame in walking your bike up this section. It's brutal. The suffer storm relents slightly once you're out of the woods. From this point on, the next 2 miles of trail is nothing but ridge riding on glorious exposure courtesy of the 1980 eruption. The entire landscape is recovering denuded forest wiped completely clean by the blast. Gorgeous, intimidating views of Coldwater Lake spread out beneath you. Mount St. Helens is visible from here, but it's mostly just barely visible over Johnston Ridge. That's part of the craziness of this site. Look all around. Those are 5,000-foot peaks around you, and the blast was strong enough to send hot gas clouds up and over those peaks and completely wipe out everything to the top of the next ridge. But I want you to observe something carefully. You'll remember from the videos you've no doubt seen of this eruption, as well as what your eyes tell you looking at the other ridges around here, that there were acres upon acres of old-growth timber that was blown over just like little toothpicks. Now look around you. Do you see any of that timber on the ground? Nope. Nothing but stumps. After a few hundred more feet of grind and climb, you'll come to the stump machines that helped yank all that timber out of here. There's a yarder and a bulldozer hanging out up here, half buried in ash. They're still here because this was an active logging site when the eruption happened. The blast wasn't supposed to be as powerful as it was, and it wasn't supposed to overtop those mountains and reach this far. Keep in mind, those aren't just little hills between here and the volcano. Fortunately for the loggers, the blast happened on a Sunday morning. I did a little research, and I don't think anyone died on this site, but someone please correct me if I'm wrong. I know that there was a press photographer who died near here, but I don't think this particular site is a memorial. Still, it gives you pause. It's humbling to see what nature is capable of. So, keep climbing after you've taken a gander at the derelict logging equipment, and eventually the trail starts to follow an old logging road as you ride past more stump fields. You can see the succession is really slow up here, having only progressed to small flowering plants, bushy shrubs, and alder trees just now pushing their way up above head height. What's particularly remarkable here is the shape of the topography. Not only is the eruption of special interest, but even in its absence, this area would still be pretty remarkable just because it's clear on this side of Mount St. Helens that this is where the Cascades starts transitioning into a different kind of mountain range. Whereas in Oregon and southern Washington the Cascades are much rounder, here the slopes get steeper and the peaks get sharper as glaciers play a larger and larger role in the erosion process. Not quite as dramatic as the North Cascades yet, but it's getting there. All digression. Keep riding until a trail takes a right turn at about the 3-mile mark. This is kind of a cool little spot, and it's about where the trail starts to get pretty brushy, but that's just a preview of things to come. Keep following the trail until you arrive at this intersection. The continuation of the Coldwater Loop is to your left. Now, I'm going to stop for a moment right here to tell you that for maximum joy, what you're actually going to want to do is turn right here. The trail does get treacherous and you'll have to do some hike-a-bike and eventually just leave your bike on the hillside, but it's only another 1.5 miles with an extra 1,000 feet of climbing to where you'll eventually come to a saddle where you'll see this view. Totally worth it. So you should do that. You should hike to this awesome view and then ride your bike back to the car, back the way you came. But you won't. You won't because you're too obsessed with riding a complete loop to do the sensible thing. So let me elucidate the specific and particular misery you're about to subject yourself to, you stubborn person. Should you choose to go left down the hill toward the lake, the trail will drop almost 1,500 feet in 2.2 miles. Sounds awesome, right? Who could ask for more? You're finally going to cash in on all those turns you earned climbing up here in the first place. Well, there's a catch. Actually, there are lots of catches. Berry vines that'll catch on your clothes and scratch up your arms and legs. Lots of other bushes and plants that'll catch on everything, and the nice, cool caress of alder on your skin. The trail is nearly grown over. You won't really get to ride your bike much. This is like walking through the car wash on the way to hell. And it just keeps going and going and going. Bring plenty of Benadryl cream. You'll need it. But there are some breaks where the scenery is pretty nice. So Eric, how was that last section of trail? Great. Did you enjoy that? I didn't enjoy that. No. But it looks better now. I ran into 2 hikers and they said it's not nearly as brushy from here forward. The view is great. The view here is beautiful. You probably can't. Oh, there you go. See that? You can see that behind me. It's gorgeous. Look at that guy with his GoPro. Oh, I mean the view behind him. Awesome. Seriously, the scenery is amazing, and this is one of the few places where the views get better as you descend because the mountains surrounding you just appear more and more dramatic as they tower above. Keep heading down the trail and eventually you'll come to this bridge over Coldwater Creek. That's it. The fun's over. So here we are at the intersection with the Mount Whitter Trail, which is 4 miles there somewhere through that brush. And, judging by this topography, I bet that's a really easy climb. Somebody else go give that a shot. Report back to me on what it's like. I bet it's great. Now you have to get out of here. The next 6 miles are basically the equivalent of a river trail, only without the benefit of even an overall trend downhill, because unfortunately for you, this is a flat lake. So you can think of this trail as like your ersatz torture chamber in the middle of pristine beauty, because you wouldn't want it to be too easy. So it makes you earn it. There's never a dull moment on this trail. So it's just a bunch of exposures and punchy climbs and rocky terrain and stuff hidden in the underbrush that makes you stupid fall for no stupid reason. Be careful at this point, because even though you haven't technically ridden that many miles, this trail wears you down psychologically, especially with all the time you spent swimming through that little shop of horrors coming down to the lake. Anyhow, you ride and you ride and you ride until eventually you get to the side of the lake the park is on. You'll know you're almost there when you start seeing more benches, bathrooms, and people using said benches and bathrooms. Just leave the same way the cars do, turn left on the highway, and after 1.5 miles of pavement, you'll be back at the car. Now that you've ridden this as a loop, you never need to do it again. Next time, ride it as an out and back. It's way better as an out and back. Now get out there and go ride your bike. Hey folks, I'm glad you like watching my videos. I love doing this. I love documenting all the great trails I'm lucky enough to get to ride, and I love introducing new trails to new people, but I do need your help to keep doing that. First of all, I'd like to give a big thanks to all my subscribers and those who've already shared this video. Please click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you like these videos and want to see more of them, I need you to use the share button right below this video. Share these videos with other people on whatever social network you use so that these videos can do their job, which is introducing more trails to more people. Thanks everybody. Now, once again, get out there and go ride your bike.